Okay, now the sun's rising here in Doha. I didn't get much sleep last night. I got up about 4 a.m. and went for a workout just because of the time difference. I couldn't sleep well at all. And today's moving day. We're flying to Phuket on Qatar Airways Qsuites. Really looking forward to that. I've flown first class before. Now I'm going to do kind of a comparison to the business class version of the Qsuites. And transiting through Doha here, we get to take advantage of the nice business class lounge. So we're looking forward to that. And let's get right into it.
I just exited the elevator at the ground level for the lobby. I'll do a separate video on the actual review of this hotel. It'll be a quick one since I only stayed one night. But let's go check out my car service booked by my priority pass. This is very convenient when you're in a different country. You don't want to download whatever their version of Uber is. You can just do this if you have a priority pass. I have mine through the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card, so that's a free membership with that card. There'll be a link in the description if you want to get that. Anytime you're in a coastal city that's a desert like Doha, there's always great sunrises, so this is a sun gazer's paradise for sure. And now we're about to pull up at the business class entrance for Qatar Airways. They have their own private entrance for business class and first class. The check-in agents didn't want me filming, so I'm skipping past that towards my walk through the terminal. Since I have flown in first class on Qatar Airways before, I was kind of shocked at how far away the business class version of the lounge actually is away from the check-in area and from the gates. It was at least a 7-minute walk to get to the lounge, and it was kind of difficult to find. As at the end of this walk, I had to go past the Al Maha lounge as well, which is a step below the business class lounge, where if you have, I think it's gold status, maybe gold or silver status with Qatar Airways, you can get into that one. But this is a business class version. It's still pretty nice, just not quite the Al Safwa lounge. You can gain access here with One World Sapphire status or just through a business class ticket.
Okay, thank you. Do I need to check in here? Hi, do I check in here or I just go straight in? Thank you.
And the agent's going to give a quick rundown.
Are you familiar with this lounge?
I've only been to the first before.
For this lounge, allow me to explain what we have here. If you wish to leave your bags, we have locker facility on this side.
Okay.
Second level will be the main dining area.
All right.
For buffet a la carte service. We have smoking area far and to the left, and showers and toilets will be behind this one.
Buffets over there, looks like?
Will be upstairs, sir.
Upstairs, okay.
We also have another dining area on this side, which serves deli, salads, and sandwiches.
Okay,
We also have a business center and a prayer room.
perfect. I'll go upstairs then. Thank you.
My main critique of this lounge in comparison to the first class Al Safwa lounge is the sense of overall busyness, and you'll see that once I get to the top level where the buffet and main dining area is at. Whether it's the high amount of staff, which just seem like they're moving very quickly around everywhere, it kind of depends which table you get. If you're gonna sense the hustle and bustle of workflow of the staff going around, rushing by you constantly. And the main difference between this one versus Al Safwa is the buffet versus a la carte menus.
Yes, thank you.
We have the buffet ongoing.
I got just a basic omelet and lamb sausage. It was pretty decent, and I got a double espresso coffee. They did bring a refreshing towel, so that was nice. But now that I've finished my meal, I'm going to go back down the escalator and go find my gate, which is also not very close by. It's actually nice that they give you those towels in between because there is a lot of walking involved with going to the business class lounge, especially. So now I'm in the main atrium where all the gates are divided in the new terminal. And again, it was a long walk to get to all the way to B6 where my departure gate was at. You're about to see me get on a couple of the moving walkways to get there a little bit more quickly, and I'll speed things up as we go along. My main critique of ever being on these moving walkways is when someone stops, so luckily that didn't happen this time. Now I arrived at B6 and I'll get checked in.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Qatar Airways. Mr. Troy,
Yes.
how about pizza flight?
Thank you very much. Do you need this piece or?
While there is a business class separate line to check in, you still enter the same waiting area as economy class, which is a little bit frustrating because coming from the lounge, there's nowhere to sit once you get to the gate. But after a few minutes, we were let through first as being in business class. But once we get down the walkway to the actual entrance of the plane, we realized the crew wasn't quite ready yet, so we had to stand there for a moment. So I kind of just skipped past that, and then we were able to board. My main criticism of this version of the Qsuites in business class, it was terribly smaller in comparison to anything I've
morning,
seen
sir.
on other YouTube
One
videos.
name. Thank you, Mr. Sender.
Again, I have flown in the first class version. This configuration was super tiny, and it was kind of a disappointment. Luckily, again, after a long walk, I was able to get this refreshing towel and freshen up a little bit. This version of the 777 business class doesn't even have the closing door, so that's a bit of a disappointment. But let's check out the amenity kit. I really like how this one, it must be a new version where it's more like a suitcase with the separate pockets, and it has kind of that suitcase design where it maintains its shape. The one I got in first class before was more like it seemed more feminine because it only had the one zipper on top and everything was in one pocket. I didn't really like that layout too much, but it has the basics of toothbrush, toothpaste, some socks, and some hand creams. So, nice touch, and I'll keep the bag for sure. Soon after boarding, I was able to get my refreshment, and here's a safety video presented by Kevin Hart.
Storing the overhead carpet or under the seat in front of them. Please be careful when opening the overhead locker, and items may fall out. You have to be careful. Hey, man. Rosie, hey, what's on my safety video?
The keyboard sent me. He said you may need a little bit of help. I'll be in the kids' week. You need me, Kat?
Yeah, well, I thought you could just see the back of it. I couldn't see the back of it. Look, you gotta push. Make sure you push it back. Okay, that's important.
After about a 30-minute delay at the gate, we were finally able to pull away and do our takeoff. Soon after, we can see the skyline of Doha, and then now here is Palm Jumeirah near Dubai. Able to see the Burj Al Arab Hotel. That's a 7-star hotel. Only one in the world. And as we're passing downtown Dubai, you can just barely see the Burj Khalifa sticking up above the rest. Pretty cool to see that on my flight from Doha to Bangkok. Plenty of good views like this along the way. Now let's get into the meal service. Awesome presentation with the white linen cloth, the fake candle. I do like the water glasses that have this kind of texture to it. It's easier to hold. I selected the smoked salmon. Pretty good. They give me a salt and pepper shaker. I'll show that more closely in a moment. This first piece of salmon was actually covered with dill, which initially I didn't think was a great combination, but there is this nice complementary aspect of the smoked flavor with the dill that I wouldn't expect before. So it was good. It was better than I expected. This second one is topped with sesame seeds, I believe it is. Just a slightly different texture with the seeds. There are some pickled onions over top as well. So it was a nice combination of flavors. And now I'm messing around with this salt and pepper shakers. The flight attendant was kind enough to let me keep both the salt and pepper grinders, so I was happy about that. And now here's the main course. I ordered the tenderloin topped with a savory butter and some vegetables. that was a nice combination. Of course, the tenderloin was overcooked. They could only offer it in medium well or more. And obviously, because of that, it's difficult to cut, but at least it has the savory butter. And as you can see, medium well at least. But the flavors are nice, and the vegetables were also al dente as well, so they had a little bit of texture. After meal service, I switched to a Sauvignon Blanc, and it was very smooth, elegant wine, clean taste. And of course, we ran into turbulence for a lot of the flight, so you can see my glass shaking profusely. Not only was the entertainment lacking on the screen, there was just very few options, but the Wi-Fi did not work through the entirety of this flight. And even if it were to work, the flight attendant, who was very kind, actually explained they were like working to see if it was going to work or not. And even if it did, they charge you for it on this particular route. And over India, apparently there's a gap of like 3 hours where they don't have Wi-Fi service. So it sounds like they need to get linked up with Elon Musk and Starlink, because my first flight that was in economy class from Chicago to Doha had fast Wi-Fi the entire time, which must have been by Starlink, and I was streaming videos the whole time, no problem. Now we're getting towards the end of the flight where we can start to see the islands off the coast of Phuket, and just amazing views. You don't see this hardly anywhere else in the world, of these islands they're almost like mountains just sticking out of the water. A lot of tall peaks there, nice scenery. Now as we're coming in for the approach, I want to give my final takes on this Qsuite experience. This was not quite what I was expecting for the 40,000 miles booked through American Airlines. In comparison to first class, which was at 50,000 miles, flying from Doha to Bangkok previously, I would much prefer that experience. It's more consistent versus the business class version. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the video. We'll see you again very soon.